going to invite everyone to join me in putting your palms together as we have Julie requesting the Dharma for this class. Okay, Julie, when you're ready, you can begin.
Cùng chiên ta tơ sơn thì quê chi pha huệ chi chế chúng sinh chính truyền妙法论教大我闻如何了生多时亦苦得了诸真无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma will to teach us how to live suffering and attain bliss, and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Okay, please join me in reciting the Buddha's name. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo sadanto sucheto ye alahati sanmiao sanputo che. 无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered, even in a billion eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. Hello everyone. Thank you all for your patience for waiting such a long time before we continue our classes. I'm really happy to see so many people have come back to join us. Not as many as before, but still quite a few. We have Chan Kwan Hong, we have Choi Chi, we have Gail, we have Gwen, we have Hilda, we have Julie from Singapore, we have the Karen and the Queen sisters with their mom, we have Catherine, we have Katie, we have Casey, we have Lam Yip, we have Miss Leong or Leong Wai Shin, we have B Liu, we have Lynn from Stockton, we have Melinda, Ron, Rosalind, we have Saha from Canada, we have Siu Siu, we have Lucy Sim, and let me see, we have Tan from Melbourne, we also have Chui, we have Miss Yap from Singapore, I had lost my place, we have Lai Chun, we have Yi Chen Go, and then we have someone whose name is in Chinese, which unfortunately I can't make out. Welcome back, everyone. Ron says we are the quality bunch. Yes, we are. Okay, so I'm going to recite Medicine Master Buddha's name 7 times. As always, I'm going to invite everyone to put their palms together and join me. Namo Quelling Disasters Lengthening Life, Medicine Master Buddha. 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 Was anyone counting? Did I do 7 or did I do 8? Anyone counting?
Nope.
No, Master, it's 7 times.
I did 7 times? Okay. You know, if any of you have ever been to the Buddha Hall at the City of 10,000 Buddhas, the Buddha Hall is huge. And when you request Dharma, you walk a very long way. You start off from the middle of the Buddha hall, and then you walk to the altar. Let me see. While I speak, let me see if I have a picture of the CDTV Buddha hall. And then so what happens is you walk to the altar and you put in, you light the incense, and then you hold the incense, and you start circumambulating around the Buddhas. And I'm trying to look up online for those of you who haven't been there before to see what the Buddha hall looks like. Okay, I have one. Oh, okay, so let me increase it. So what happens is, if you see my mouse on the screen, you walk from left to right, and then you walk up the stage, and then you disappear behind Shufu's portrait. You walk from left to right, and then you come down the staircase where my mouse is right now, and you do that 3 times, and it's very long. It's one of the longest requests for dharmas. So while you're walking, it has happened to me before. As I walk, I forget whether I'm on number 2 or number 3, round number 2 or round number 3. Because if you do it for the first few times, you become very nervous. Everyone's looking at you. And I think there's been not just me, but other people. Sometimes they walk 4 times. I don't think I've seen people walk 5 times, but definitely 4 times. Yeah. You walk halfway and then you forget the count. So welcome everyone. We have had a request. Earlier during our last class, about a month ago, there was something that Tan wanted to share, and he didn't get a chance. So he's been very patient. He's been waiting for 1 whole month. So Tan sent me a message earlier, just before the class began, and he reminded me. He said that in the last 1 month, many things have happened. Some of us may have lost loved ones, or who may have either had a fresh perspective in rereading the sutras. I hope all of you have continued reading or investigating the sutras. And other things might have happened as well. It seems as if the world keeps on, situation just keeps getting worse and worse. So I would like to open it up and to see if anyone has any reflections or any stories or anything they would like to share. Anyone? I know every single time I ask, I don't get a response. I'm hoping today is going to be different.
The Master,
yes.
if no one has said that you have something to share, then I'm willing to start. But I let people go first.
Okay, maybe why don't you go first, Han? And
okay.
Yeah, hopefully after people get a listen to what you have to say, more people will join.
Okay. Thank you, Dhamma Master. Amita for everyone. I'm not sure where should I start, because things happen. I just said. So during our break, some of my friends lost their loved one, and I got 2 cases that I would like to share. So my friend has a best friend from Malaysia had a cancer. So that young lady that passed away never has that practicing or interest in Buddhism, and her mom instead knows about Medicine Master Buddha and recite the sutra. And the mother has said that helping her very sick daughter who suffer from terminal cancer in the hospital during the COVID restriction time. And it seems like the daughter didn't like too much noise or too much sound, and things getting worse. And I think at the very end, but the mom, she tried to do her best to chant medicine master Buddha Sutra and mantra. But seeing her daughter like that, that is what I understood from what my friend telling me. So the mother, for some reason, decide to change her chanting into Namo Tassa, Namo Tassa. And it seems like it worked because she saw her daughter face become peaceful and peaceful and like very restful. And I think at some stage, things going on like that. The daughter saw a golden hand that reached out the drip, and also a very bright yellow light in the room. And she said it's very warm and comfortable. And I think, not long after, she passed away. When I think her mother held her hands, in assisting her all along again. That's how I understood the story. So I just found that so just amazing how even for someone just like that young lady who passed away, how to say that, who never practicing or believe in Buddhism, etc. And thanks to her mother effort, and now she was able to depart and have such a response. So it's just wonderful. Yeah, that's the story I just wanna share today. Amitabha.
Thank you so much, Tan, for sharing that. And you say that this person, she passed away from cancer. Is that correct?
Yes, it's looked like from some cancer. I didn't ask my friend or what type of cancer, but it was a very very bad for her to have to pass away.
Anyone else has anything to share?
The Master?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
So does it mean that that young lady who couldn't, how to say that, accept easily when her mom chant like Mahayana Sutra mantra such as Medicine Master Buddha, but it worked when she chant Namo Tassa, which is Theravada chanting. So does that mean that her condition and affinity is towards the Theravada?
Honestly, I do not know.
For her to become like more at ease during her suffering and feel comfortable since then onwards.
I honestly do not know to be able to explain why she reacted that way. But what I do know is how we develop. It's important how we develop current habits right now. I remember during the break, there was some WhatsApp messages going on, and one of them was actually from my mom. She was saying how she tries to train herself in how would I put it? What did she actually say? I don't remember exactly what happened in that WhatsApp exchange or WhatsApp messages, but basically say if your aspiration is to be reborn in the Pure Land, how you train yourself is how you respond to the Dharma right now. Okay, now I remember the WhatsApp message was about a monk, a Theravada monk who was saying that at the moment of death, the the last thoughts that we have during the period when we die. He said that it's not. He said that comes from a lifetime of practice. Basically, your lifetime of habits that you accumulate will determine the nature of your last thoughts. And that's really important for the Pure Land practice, because there is a belief that even people who have not practiced the Pure Land, during their dying moments, if they're really sincere and they recite Amitabha's name, they can get to be reborn in the Pure Land. And while that may be true, what people have done is they have misunderstood what that means, and they think that maybe they don't really have to practice that much, or they don't really have to practice, and they can do whatever they want, and they hope that in their last moments they can think of Amitabha, Buddha, or the Pure Land and get reborn there. So it's not going to be that simple, because the way I see it is, what's the best way to explain it? Think about your dreams. Okay, when you are dreaming, how much are you in control? And how much of your thoughts are automatic? Okay, like for example, in my dreams, sometimes I see my dad. My dad passed away in 2009. But in my dreams, sometimes I see my dad, he's old. Sometimes I see, in my dreams, my father is young, like in his maybe 30s or 40s, younger. It has never occurred to me in any of my dreams that that would be weird because my father has passed away. Because in the dream state, those things come directly from your mind. And because they come from your mind takes it to be real. So in a dream, very rarely do we realize, number one, that we are dreaming, and very rarely are we able to control the nature of our thoughts in our dreams. They're fairly automatic. If we do, it's because of the habits that we create. So the purpose of vows that we're going to talk about today in the Medicine Master Buddha Sutra, vows help us create really, really strong habits that through accumulation over your lifetime from now until the moment you pass away, because we plant these new habits, it helps steer us to the Pure Land. What does that mean? Okay, for example, people who generally practice, especially the practice of Pure Land, accumulate really, really good blessings. Okay, because why? You learn how to be generous, you recite the Buddha's name a lot, and you're planting a lot of really, really good karmic seeds. And from past classes, we know that these seeds generate a lot of blessings, and a lot of them are heavenly blessings. So during your last stages, if you have done your practice right, what's going to happen is that avenues open up, and you might be okay. I can't really speak like I know what I'm talking about. This is just my understanding. What I understand is that during your last moments, you may have the opportunity to be reborn in the heavens opens up. Okay, and whether you decide to go there or you suddenly recall that you prefer to be in the Pure Land instead depends on how you conduct yourself right now. For example, say you have a choice of either going out to have fun with your friends, or to go on a holiday, or to go somewhere like really nice, or to watch a movie. Okay, something like that, something that has a lot of relaxation, a lot of enjoyment, a lot of fun. Okay, as compared to the choice of, say, going for a retreat instead, or going to meditate, or picking up the sutra and reading it, or reciting the Buddha's name. Okay, so every time you have a choice, that's where your vows are supposed to kick in. And if your vows to be reborn in the Pure Land are really, really strong, it should show in your daily choices. It reminds you of everything that you do, like say even eating food. The only reason I'm eating this food is not because I really want to enjoy the pleasures and the aromas and the taste of the food, but it's to prevent my body from falling sick, so I can recite the Buddha's name, so I can be reborn in the Pure Land. So if you have a really strong vow, that's how you view food. That's how you view your practice. If not, then during your last moments, because you spend your whole life going after enjoyment, you know, maybe you enjoy yourself 3, 4, 5 times, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, and then you might go to the temple to attend a ceremony once, you know, or you spend, you know, let's say you have like, you spend 30, 40, 50 times on yourself, and only one of them is an act of generosity in supporting the Triple Jewel, for example. All that is going to show in your final moments. When you are faced, say, with heavenly blessings, or with a choice to go to the Pure Land, that's where your habit or your karma takes over. And before you know it, you where you end up is based on how you have lived your life. So that's why vows to be reborn in the Pure Land are really, really important, because you have to, how would I say, you use the vows to re-examine your daily choices and the intentions and the behind your daily choices. I hope that makes sense to people. I wasn't prepared to talk about this. Let me look at the chat box. Okay, Chui he says, so we don't know what sound or dharma would have affinity with us. Okay, Chui is referring to Tan, your question. He says the wow power from Buddha's name are good, but in this case it's Namo Tassa, not those familiar Buddha name we used to. Whatever wholesome that work, just accept it. Sue says, if we have aspired to be reborn in the Pure Land, there is still a choice of getting reborn in heavenly realms. Yes, of course. Okay, for example, Sue, say like someone who has just learned about the Pure Land, okay, and they say, oh, I really, really want to go to the Pure Land and make a vow, like I really want to be reborn in the Pure Land. But because they haven't really practiced the Pure Land, when I say practice the Pure Land, I don't mean like what people usually think, like recite the Buddha's name. I mean a whole orientation of their thoughts towards the Pure Land. So because this person is so used to, say, going for dinners with their friends, going for functions, going for parties, watching movies and all that, someone tells them, hey, I'm going to the temple tomorrow, would you like to come? That person's response will be, oh, tomorrow I already have an appointment. I'm going to meet my friends who I haven't seen for a long time. They're having a birthday party and I'm going for that. That's their first response. So because they haven't developed this habit, their vow is not strong. You can have all the intention you want, but if you're not creating new habits that over time become automatic, they're not strong at all, because they show up in the choices that you make. So you want to, in your choice, always choose or always remind yourself of the intention behind why you do the things that you do. And that's what it means to dedicate the merit of what you have done to the Pure Land. That means that, oh, I'm doing this so that, to remind myself that I want to be in the Pure Land. So in everything that you do, if you can dedicate the merit to the Pure Land, and you keep on reciting the Buddha's name, which is planting more and more seeds of reminding yourself. That's why they say that the flower in your Pure Land grows larger. It means that the chances of you being reborn in the Pure Land in this lifetime is a lot greater. Okay, so vows, you can have vows all you want, but if they are purely intentional, as in they don't translate to any action or a difference in the choices that you make, that prioritize dharma over say pleasure or relaxation, then that's something you have to. There's something only you would know as a practitioner. Okay, Gwen says, that's why I remind myself nearly daily that every other place is eventually suffering. Only safe place is Pure Land. Yes, that's a really excellent way of doing it. And then Sue says, but I have aspired to be reborn in the Pure Land. Yes, so don't let it be an empty aspiration. Let that aspiration translate into actual action. Saha says, how about the time of death, you don't have anyone chanting for you to be born in the Pure Land? Well, if you create the right habits right now, you don't need anyone to chant for you. The chanting is just there to remind people who have not practiced well. You at that moment when you're confused. So to know which category you fall in, just look at your lifestyle right now. Just look at how often the Pure Land stays in your thoughts. How often is the Pure Land a motivation for the thing that you do? Only you would know that. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Continue the chanting. The chat box. Chui said, recall stepmom told me from Earth Source Sutra that mentioned 3 powers that influence our last moment are habits, karma, and vows. Habit and karma are the same thing. Vows are a way of creating habit. Yeah. Having listened to Dharma and dedicate merit are good. For example, cultivating good habits that help ourselves. Yes, that's correct, Chui. Yeah. Anyone else has anything to share?
Faster, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
It says habit, karma, and vows. Does it go in that sequence, or is there vice versa that you can actually have karma, then you make a vow and it becomes your habit?
Okay. Karma and habit is the same thing.
Okay.
Habit is just another way of explaining what karma is, or to see. Yeah. So I would say karma and habit are the same difference, and then vows is a way of generating habits or karma. Does that make sense?
This karma, does it mean that karmas that come in when we are born, or karma that is formed throughout our lifestyles?
Both.
Okay.
Karma means both. Yeah, there are something called determinate and determinate. Okay, there are certain karma that we can't change because we are born that way. For example, your face, we are born that way. And then the family you're born into, that one you can't change. But there are others that you can change, which is the whole point of learning about cause and effect. Which is why the Buddha taught us about cause and effect, is that everything else we can change. Okay, it's not accurate to say everything else, but there are a lot of things that we can change. For example, one of the first questions people have when they learn about cause and effect is, what about all the things that I've done before? They are worried. So Shufu says that common people worry about the effects, whereas bodhisattvas worry about the causes. So bodhisattvas, or enlightened beings, they look at prevention. They look at planting proper seeds all the time instead of planting improper seeds. Whereas common people like ourselves, because we don't understand cause and effect, we go around planting seeds that have impure consequences or effects, and then we worry when the effects surface.
Okay, thank you, Faster.
Okay. Yeah, and then there's a component that I'm supposed to say. Let me see. Ms. Yap, what was your question again? Your question was? Miss Yap, HH, can you repeat your question again?
Okay, I said that in Tree's text, he mentioned about habits, karma, and vow. So I said, is that the sequence to it, or is that a vice versa to that sequence where
Okay,
people
that
have
remember.
thought of
Thank you.
karma? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So for the question about people asking, what about the things that I've done before? What if my karma with consequences that I don't want come back? So what the Buddha has to say is how we, change our perspective, change how we see our relationship with ourselves and with the world around us. So in the past few classes, I can't remember which class, but I remember speaking about the ability to change how we perceive hardship. If any of you remember, and I hope you do, I gave the example of going hungry. And it's not that you go hungry because you don't have any food, but you go hungry because you are too busy feeding people who need the food more than you do. You remember that? Okay. So there are ways where if we become less selfish and we learn how to be more generous and we learn how to respect and value life of the people around us, that because we alter how we see ourselves and our situation, then when undesirable karmic consequences come back because we planted the causes before, the effect of those causes on us is different because why we are different. So what used to be suffering becomes easy to bear. So that's actually a really, really important teaching about cause and effect. Because how we conduct ourselves, how we view life, has an effect of how our past karma can affect us. Okay? Yeah. So there's one thing about cause and effect and karma that we need to understand is that we have control over how we react. Okay, and going back to the chat box, we can start to chant for our own self now, just in case no one chant for us. Yes, Melinda, that's really good. Chant for yourself. Don't wait for others. And then Ron says, Down Master, there's two pure lands. One in the east, Amitabha, one in the west, Medicine Master. When people talk of pure land, most times that refers to Amitabha. What about Medicine Master's pure land? Ron, that depends on where you want to go, where your affinities are. If you prefer going to Medicine Master's pure land, then you chant Medicine Master Buddha's name, or you do his mantra instead. Yeah, it's basically it's up to you. But if you say pure land practice, 99.9% of the time people will assume it is Amitabha's pure land. And Gwen says, is it also called fixed karma and unfixed karma? I think yes, that might be right. Yeah, fixed and unfixed. Yeah. Okay. All right. Before everyone falls asleep, are we ready to go to the sutra? Okay, let me pull up the sutra. The last time. Okay, sorry. Anyone else has anything they wanted to share or some reflections? Anyone? Has anyone read the sutra during these last 3-4 weeks?
Yes.
Thank you. I hope you have, and you're not coming back after so long. Okay, all right. If you look at your, okay, we're going to revisit the first great vow by Medicine Master Buddha before he became Medicine Master Buddha. Okay, I'm going to highlight it, and I'm going to see if I can. Okay, all right. I'm going to put my palms together. The first great vow, a vow that in the future life, when I attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, my body will shine with dazzling light that will illumine measureless, countless, boundless worlds. My body will be adorned with the 32 heroic features and the 80 subsidiary characteristics, and I will enable all beings to become as I am. Okay, I remember in the last class, before we sign off, I talked about shine with dazzling light. Does anyone have any insights or thoughts about why would he make a vow like that? Dazzling light. How can that be helpful for anyone? Anyone? No?
The Mama Sir,
Yes.
I think he made that vow. I think he want to, or he want all living beings also to wake up their how say that, the how do you call that in English? I forgot the word already.
You mean
the body mind or their
body mind?
their,
Okay.
the Buddha nature.
Buddha
Yeah.
nature. Okay.
Maybe
okay.
I don't know.
Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. I haven't explained that. Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi is Sanskrit for unequal right enlightenment. I think that's what you mean, for people to uncover their nature.
Yes, you got the right words. Amitabha.
Okay, but why light? Why would he want his body to shine? What does that mean? That's code language. Okay, that's a code for meaning something else.
How say that? Because we are ignorant, so the light, for living beings in general are ignorant. The light can how say that, give them some insight. I don't have the right word for sure.
Would you prefer to say it in Vietnamese and have someone else help you?
In Vietnamese, để cho mình thấy, để mình cho ta thấy con đường. In English, that can say that we can start to see the path, start to see the truth, maybe.
When you say past, like past lives, past?
No, past, PATH. The way to see the way, to see the doubt.
Okay. Yes, that's very helpful. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, chat box. Lynn says light represents something good. I hope so. And Sue says because living beings are suffering, are in darkness, so shining with dazzling light to help them see there is hope. And beings can overcome their sufferings and be as the Buddha. Yes, so darkness, that's very good. Darkness is a metaphor for living beings living in ignorance. I remember when I was growing up, I think I've shared this story before. My family used to live in an estate, and in oil palm estates. And in oil palm estates, the houses, you get your electricity from the oil palm factories. And sometimes the factories would shut down, and then you would not get electricity. It's not as reliable as getting it from the grid. So when living out in the jungle, oil palm plantations are always not near the cities. At night, when the electricity gets cut off, sometimes you can't see your fingers in front of your face. That's how dark it is. And when that happens, then you start walking like a mummy. You know how mummies in movies walk, or zombies? You put your hands in front of you and then you try to walk slowly. And as a child, I remember hitting my toe or my little toes onto furniture, and it hurts. It really, really hurts. But can you imagine if you have to do that outside? You might be at the edge of a cliff. You might have a hole in front of you. Or you might have snakes or scorpions or animals. If you can't see what's in front of you, it's really, really hard to navigate yourself. So darkness is a metaphor for beings living in ignorance. Because in ignorance, we plant causes, we create karma, not understanding that when the effect ripens and it comes back, we create unhappiness or suffering for ourselves. So the light, I think, I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking everyone, because I'm not sure. I think when Medicine Master Buddha, before he became the Buddha, when he says his body will shine with dazzling light, that will illumine measureless, countless, boundless worlds. I think one way to see it is that his wisdom, the wisdom of his teachings, will be everywhere. But I think it's also more personal than that. It's like if I were to make that vow, it would mean that no matter where I go, I will always want to save living beings. So to me, the measureless, countless, boundless worlds means no matter where I am, I will not forget my vows. So no matter where I am, I will always save living beings. For example, last time, or maybe even now, when I go to the temple, then I become a better person. But when I leave the temple and I'm with my friends, I become the same old me with all my bad habits. Does that sound familiar? Okay. So what I see this first vow is that no matter where he goes throughout the 10 directions, measureless, countless, boundless worlds, he will always remember his vows. And what are his vows? His vows is wisdom. Okay, and as you all in the chat box, you all type, he will help all beings to become like him. Okay, so I think that's my way of trying to understand his first vow at the level I am at right now. Okay, I see the chat box keeping on moving. So let me see. Light means awareness, so that can reflect oneself internal. Yes, that's one way of, that's how you start. Before you can shine light outside, you have to shine light inside to overcome your wisdom. Chui says in Tibetan Book of Date. Okay. Mention 2 types of light come each day for us to choose. Okay. One, normally soft, is bad, and the other, good, is strong and bright. In science, light is both a wave and a particle. And Ms. Yap says, I agree, because he mentioned I will enable all beings to become as I am. Yes, that's right. Okay, so in this vow, okay, he talks about, I'm going to highlight it right now. He talks about my body will be adorned with the 32 heroic features. Okay, what are the 32 heroic features? Well, it just so happens that many years ago, I think it was about 10 years ago, when I first came to CDTB, my first or second year, I was asked to help during the 10,000 Buddha Repentance to create a slideshow of the 32 hallmarks. And I'm going to either make everyone suffer or be really intrigued in sharing that slideshow right now. Okay. And it was only today that I had a different perspective on this 32 hallmarks. Before, honestly, before today, I always saw the 32 hallmarks as interesting. Interesting fact about the Buddha or Buddhism, but I never actually, how would I put it? It never meant more than that to me, other than an interesting fact. Okay, what's interesting? Okay, let me show it to you right now. Okay, let me go to the first page. Oops. Sorry for the flashing. Okay, so if you look at your screen, number 1 is called the level and full feet. This is number 1 of the, sorry about that. this is the first great hallmark of the Buddha. So the Buddha has 32 hallmarks and 32 great characteristics and 80 minor characteristics. So what is my, how did my perspective change? How the Buddha obtains these hallmarks is a result of practice. So just as some of you might be familiar, they say that, say, if you kill a lot, then your retribution will be a short lifespan, either this life or next life or in future lives. They say that if you like intoxicants, then in future lives when you come back, you will be born with impaired faculties. Why? Because you, in this life, you plant the habits of liking to be confused all the time. So what happens is that you will be reborn confused. They say that what are the they say that if you like to trap animals, you like to hunt and trap animals, then in future lives you will go insane. You become mad. You get because in past lives or in this life you trap animals. So that's cause and effect. So conversely, because we like to concentrate on the bad things, right? Because why? Fear is a very good motivation for us to practice. I myself, one of the reasons I practice was because I'm afraid of the health. Well, conversely, if you do good deeds, then there are also good results. Okay? And the 32 hallmarks and the 80 minor characteristics of the Buddha has all of them, is connected to virtue. And fun fact, if you look at your screen, you look at the top right, and there's a figure that says 100 bows. When you bow the 10,000 Buddha repentance, every 100 bows, there's a verse that you recite that corresponds to the first 3,200 bows, or correspond to the first 32 great hallmarks of the Buddha, and then the following correspond to the 80 minor hallmarks of the Buddha. Okay, so what I have is a slideshow and how you get these hallmarks. Okay, so in front of you, you have level and full feet, right? So it says that the soles of a Buddha's feet are as smooth and level as the breast of a tortoise shell. What does that mean? You take a tortoise, you turn it upside down, it's flat. So that his feet are always firmly planted. Okay, if any of you follow the ceremonies at the Berkeley Buddhist Monastery and you see me, the person walking in front is always JinHe, and JinHe, he walks really slow. And I'm not used to walking slow, so sometimes you see me stumble. Okay, why? Because I don't have level and full feet like the Buddha. Okay, how do you get firmly planted feet? Okay, it is said that you get this from holding the precepts really, really well. And there are three kinds of precepts. The restraints for an individual, which is the vows that the precepts that you take when you leave home. And then there's another one, the restraints arising from a state of mental stability. This is how you say, it has to do with samadhi, right concentration. And then the third one are the restraints from being untainted. This is being able to, how you say, distance yourself from disturbing emotions and attitudes. That's how you get level and full feet. So my the difference in my understanding of the 32 hallmarks is that now, instead of just seeing it as an interesting fact of Buddhism, it's actually a way of practice. The 32 hallmarks are a way of, is a key for us to emulate the Buddha. If you want to be like the Buddha, this is how you find out how the Buddha conducted himself that he eventually became the Buddha. These are the things that he did. So remember, in one of the classes we talked about how they talked about the practice of making Buddha images or sculpturing Buddha images, and how Bodhidharma said that yes, but actually what the sutra means is that you emulate the Buddha. So when I remember that today, while preparing for today's class, it hit me that the 32 hallmarks are actually a guide of how to be like the Buddha. So I'm not sure if you can share in my I can't say I'm really excited, but enthusiasm in sharing this. To me now, the 32 hallmarks has a lot of significance, because it's, like I said, it's like a manual on how to be like the Buddha. Okay, so number 2. Oh, let me come here. Number 2. If the Buddha was in front of you right now, and you looked at the sole of his feet, not only would it be flat, but it would have the mark of a wheel, the 1,000-spoke wheel on his feet. And it is said that his palms, the palms of his hand, also have the same logo. It says that this is because the Buddha has always greeted and escorted his teachers, his parents, and his elders, and he's he's always of service. He's always trying to see if he can make you more comfortable, or he can give you a drink. He's like a really good host, a really good person to be around with, because he's always taking care of you. And if you do that well, then you too can have this mark on the soles of your feet and on the palms of your hand. Okay, let me see. Chat box. Ron says, I understood the first vow to mean when he becomes a Buddha, then one of the attributes have a body that can shine, illumine with light. Yes. Sue says, to have flat feet is not good, as one cannot balance oneself. We need our feet to be up so that we can balance ourselves. I have quite a number of my students have flat feet and do have problems running. Yes, Sue, it is true. Flat feet is recognized as a I think it's a medical condition. I think if you have flat feet, the US Army doesn't accept you or something. Well, that's different. I think if you have that kind of flat feet that gives you problems, instead of like in the Buddha's case giving you stability, that too comes from karma, but of impure karma. That's why the retribution, when you have that kind of flat feet, you suffer. I think the flat feet of the Buddha is a very, very different kind of flat feet. Yeah. And not just the Buddha that has flat feet. Anyone who practices that practice can have that kind of flat feet too. All right. Whether it's the same as the medical flat feet, I don't know. But thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Chui says, Vajra Sutra mentioned twice that we should not use 32 marks to see, contemplate the Buddha is normally beyond. That's a different thing, Chui. Because that's talking about emptiness. So in that section of the Heart Sutra, the Buddha says you cannot see him to the 32 hallmarks. What he means is that when you are practicing and you go really, really deep in your states, as long as your mind assigns a physical characteristic to your states, for example, that's what the Buddha means by saying that you are off the mark, because your mind isn't there yet. It doesn't mean, what I understand is it's not that we should not use 32 marks to see or contemplate the Buddha. It's coming from two different directions. One is from the form of emptiness, and it's talking about the states that you encounter and how you to know if it's a real that's a different thing, Chui. Yeah, we can have a whole class about how we can go into that, but I would suggest everyone to join Ramahungsho's class on the Vajra Sutra, so you can get an in-depth understanding of what the Buddha actually means. You have to take what Chui says in context of the entire Vajra Sutra and not just a line. We're doing something different right now. We are talking about the natural hallmarks that the Buddha was born with as a result of his practice from past lives. Okay, all right. So thousand spoke wheel on feet. Let's move to the next one. Long, slender fingers. The Buddha has fingers and toes that are extremely long, and this comes from his having saved the life of animals to be slaughtered. How about that? Yep. Okay. When you reach 400 bows at the 10,000 Buddha repentance ceremony. So what happens is this: at the end of every 100 bows, 100 bows, yes, what you recite is this: you recite, from the meritorious virtue that we have now acquired by bowing to the Buddhas, may we attain the Dharma body of the Buddhas. And then you bow once. And then after you stand up from your bow, you said, of all the hallmarks brought about by the 100 kinds of blessings, we vow to attain the hallmark of, and then depending on which section of the sutra that you're at, if you're at bows number 400, you would say supple and soft hands and feet, for example. And then you would say, may all beings accomplish this together with us. And then you bow again. Okay, so when you reach 400 bows, what happens is you talk about supple and soft hands and feet. Okay, so that's what the Buddha has. So this is, you get this when continuously, life after life, whenever your parents, your teachers and elders are ill or sick, you yourself, you take care of them. You wash them, you wipe them down, you massage their limbs, you try to make them feel comfortable, and this is what you end up with. Yeah, no arthritis in your hands and your feet. Okay, number 5 is find. Oh, we are at 6 o'clock at California, so it's time to stop, and I will continue this again because the 32 hallmarks are really interesting, not just because they are really interesting, but also because of how you actually get them. And I'm sure a lot of you will be, I hope a lot of you will be interested, because there are a lot of things that we can learn. For example, like taking care of parents. I know a lot of you do that. A lot of you take really good care of your parents, and when you do, what happens is you will get supple and soft hands and feet in the future. All right. Does anyone have anything they want to say before we transfer the merit and we end today's class?
Faster, I just want to add on that because of your class and the WhatsApp group, it has led to a lot of others classes that actually expose us to the Dharma, and all these classes is actually a great thank you to you to start off a class like this.
Oh, I don't think they started because of me. They were going to start anyway. Yeah. Okay, anyone else? No?
Yes, but we are not aware of those classes then.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to transfer or dedicate the merit. And for those of you who want to go to the Pure Land, what it means by dedicating the merit to be reborn in the Pure Land, how I understand it is that is the reason why you are in this class. You are in this class so that you can learn about Pure Land practice, or you can improve yourself. Why? Because you want to be more pure in your actions and your thoughts, so that you can get to the Pure Land. All right. Okay. I'm going to put my palms together. Oh, and before we dedicate the merit, from now on, the classes will be on a weekly basis. So come back in a week's time for the next class. And I hope everyone can read forward and also read from the beginning of the sutra, or revisit the things we have talked about, so that hopefully next time if I ask if people have any reflections or anything they want to share, I'm not greeted by silence. I still have hope. One day, 4 or 5 people will share. Okay. Dedication of merit. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may their minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of their endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, goodbye everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.